Good evening, I'm Ryan Bonazzo.
And I'm Catalina Gillies. The Thunder Bay District's active COVID-19 case count has reached a 7.5-month high.
The health unit is reporting 40 new cases over the weekend. All of the new infections are in the Thunder Bay area. 28 of them come as a result of close contact. One is related to travel outside of northwestern Ontario, and 11 exposure sources are still unknown at this time. One person in the district is now hospitalized with the virus. The 93 active cases are the most since April 10th. Over in the Northwestern Health Unit, there are 5 new cases. 3 are in the Sioux Lookout area, while 2 come from the Dryden Red Lake region. There are now 20 active cases across the NWHU.
Anishinaabe-Mushkiki has begun hosting another round of mass vaccination clinics for Indigenous adults, youth, and children living in Thunder Bay. The clinic at the CLE grounds had plenty of residents stop by today to get the COVID-19 jab, as well as the flu shot. Alex Flood has the details.
Vaccines for First Nation, Inuit, and Métis children aged 5 and up are now available in Thunder Bay. The Mushkiki Clinic at the CLE Heritage Building is also offering flu shots, boosters, and vaccine doses for all ages of people who identify with the urban and Indigenous population. Kim Bernauer, a registered practical nurse with Mushkiki, is thrilled to offer this service, especially with the holiday season quickly approaching.
It's great, and especially with all the outbreaks happening in the school right now too, it's nice to see these kids getting that protection and getting their doses. And with Christmas coming up too, it's nice that if we want to have a Christmas together, then that extra protection is definitely good.
Nurses are on site not only to provide the shots, but they can answer any questions for those who are still hesitant about the vaccine. Crystal Peary, the health services manager for Mushkiki, is pleased with the number of people coming in to get the jab.
Well, this morning we had a very steady flow. All of our nurses were quite busy administering vaccinations to everyone who walked in. And this afternoon, it's a little bit more even pace, but we certainly had a rush this morning. So it was very nice to see the people come out and to protect themselves.
If you didn't get a chance to get your shots today, not to worry, as Anishinaabe-Mushkiki will be open once again tomorrow at the Heritage Building from 11:30 to 6:30, and again on December 11th at the Coliseum Building from 10 in the morning to 4 p.m. Alex Flood, TBT News.
2 new cases of the Omicron variant have been confirmed in Ontario, and 4 others are under investigation. But the province's Chief Medical Officer of Health is calling for calm. He insists Ontario has the ability to test and trace these cases as they pop up, and he says the province is considering additional measures like expanding eligibility for 3rd doses of the COVID-19 vaccine. Colin DeMello has the story.
With 2 cases of the Omicron variant discovered in Ontario, the province is on the hunt for additional cases.
4 other individuals that were waiting for whole genome sequencing results back. 2 are in Ottawa, 2 in the Hamilton area.
The 2 known individuals with Omicron touched down in Montreal from Nigeria. They were tested in Quebec before arriving in Ottawa and are now in isolation. Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health says the province is now tracking down 375 passengers who traveled from a number of countries of interest from the African continent.
We are investigating other cases, so I would not be surprised if we find more in Ontario because we've got a very robust surveillance system.
If the variant is here, the question is, how is the province going to respond? The Minister of Health says testing is key, and that needs to be ramped up.
To ensure that we are testing all people who have returned or traveled from South Africa, Botswana, Lesotho, Eswatini, Mozambique, Namibia, and Zimbabwe. But of course, we recognize that there may be others that may need to be added to the list, since the 2 people who have already been diagnosed were traveling from Nigeria. So I would expect that other locations are going to be identified, and that's why we are continuing to ask the federal government to ensure that everyone is tested.
The Chief Medical Officer of Health says while the world is still learning about whether Omicron is vaccine resistant, he's now looking at an accelerated 3rd dose strategy to combat the variant. But he says province-wide spread of the variant is the primary factor in whether province-wide public health measures would be brought into effect.
I don't foresee us having to take any steps back at present. We will, though, need to completely understand if it's more virulent, if it increases the risk for hospitalization, if it's a less lethal virus, less impact on the hospital sector, and our vaccines can continue to work against it. We will continue our current strategy and not have to have any further public health restrictions.
Colin DeMello, CTV News.
Today was a big day for local high schoolers as they returned to a normal semester system for the first time in a year and a half. Many students have mixed feelings about going back to 4 classes a day, with some having grown accustomed to the quadmester system. Until today, high schoolers had just 2 classes per day, lasting 2.5 hours each. Students then had their own other 2 classes the following week. For local grade 9s and 10s, this is the first time they've gotten to experience the typical high school format. The kids we spoke to felt there were positives and negatives to both, but the principal at Superior Collegiate says it's a day they've all been waiting for.
When we returned to school in September, there was a real eager anticipation about coming back to school after having been home for so long. And there was the same sort of excitement today to take one step closer to being more back to normal with the 4-period day.
Now going back to the semesters is almost harder because I was used to having only 2 classes, and now it's like all compressed into one. Like I had so much time to do everything, and now it's like I have to focus on 4 things at once.
It's definitely a lot better to have some more normalcy because the last couple of years have been crazy for all of us. So going back to what we had, and it's just like a new start to high school pretty much.
For a lot of people my age, the biggest change will be changing back to how the system used to be, because through our first year and almost a half of high school, it's only been 2 classes a week.
Like how we now have that kind of like even distribution of classes. So some classes that like might focus more towards like STEM, and then other classes that are more like creative, so that we kind of have that balance throughout the day.
It's definitely, it's exciting to go back to normal and like, you know, have some sense of normalcy in my life.
3 Toronto area males, including 2 teenagers, just 15 and 16 years old, have been arrested for drug trafficking. Thunder Bay Police responded to a disturbance call in the 0 to 100 block of Picton Avenue shortly after midnight. While on scene, officers seized more than $45,000 worth of heroin and cocaine, as well as cash. All 3 accused appeared in bail court today and have been remanded into custody.
The former lifeblood of the town of Fort Frances continues to be erased from its skyline. This weekend, the town's craft mill came crashing down in an early morning implosion. The tallest structure in the town was reduced to rubble at 5 o'clock Saturday morning. Officials with Canadian National Demolition say they strategically planned the pre-dawn implosion to avoid large crowds. But hundreds of Fort Frances residents still woke up early to witness the blast or capture it on video. The 50-year-old craft mill has been idle since 2014 when Resolute Forest Products shut down operations in Fort Frances. The demolition company expects the entire site cleanup to take 18 to 22 months.
A water main break has kept a section of the Harbour Expressway closed for much of the day. Crews remain on scene at this hour to finish repairing the infrastructure that first sprung a leak last night. The city closed the busy stretch of road to eastbound traffic between Memorial Avenue and Fort William Road around 9 o'clock this morning. Water continued to pool for much of the day as crews looked for the source of the leak. Officials with the city's Sewer and Water Division say the source has been located and fixed, and the expectation is that traffic on Harbour Expressway can return to normal before 8 o'clock this evening.
The gas war on the Fort William First Nation is heating up as prices have now dropped to $1.15 a liter. K&A Gas Bar and Mountain View are both selling gasoline for about 40 cents lower than the prices seen in the city. Danielle Bain has more on their ongoing battle to be the lowest price in town.
Yeah, we're having a little gas wars out here.
At the start of the day, K&A Gas Bar was the lowest gas price in the Thunder Bay area, sitting at $1.15 per liter. Compare that with the prices at most gas stations within the city limits, which are still at $1.54.9 per liter. K&A employee Brittany Quarrell says her owner always aims to be the lowest price in town, all while still remaining profitable.
There's a lot of rumors going around that she's not making profit or whatever, but that's very not true. Those are rumors. She doesn't care if she makes this much profit or this much profit. She just likes to take pride in being the lowest in town.
Quarles says the customers do appreciate the price, but that's not the only thing they care about. And she was right.
Because the gas is a cheaper price, and the people are nice here too.
Oh, I think it's really good. The service is good. Everybody's friendly and everything, and that's what brings me back all the time.
The gas war appears to have been sparked by Mountain View, located next door to K&A. That gas bar recently expanded its number of pumps and then reopened with lower prices. Mountain View started the day at $1.17 a liter, but manager Ziad Maloud decided to match K&A's price. Maloud says the price is definitely important, but there are many other factors that come into play when keeping loyal customers, and Mountain View has something that K&A doesn't.
Sometimes even if our price is the highest, people like to come here because we offer many things like pay at the pump, convenience, and also cheap tobacco products.
Mountain View's customers were happy to see the lower price and explained what kept them coming back.
For the prices of the gas, cheaper than in town.
The prices and the staff are really nice. I don't have to get out of my vehicle.
Both Quarles and Maloud say their main goal behind matching and beating each other's prices is to prove to their customers that they'll do whatever it takes to keep them coming back. Danielle Bain, TBT News.
A marathon bargaining meeting between the Amalgamated Transit Union, the City of Thunder Bay, and a conciliator has resulted in a tentative agreement that should avert a strike for Thunder Bay Transit and Lift Plus. Local transit operators have been without a contract since June of 2020, and the members voted 96% in favor of a strike mandate back in October. ATU Local 966 President Fred Caputo says the two sides met with the conciliator last week, and after a lot of back and forth, they finally reached a tentative deal. Caputo thinks the terms are fair, but nothing is official until the 150 members vote to ratify.
There's relief. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of our members are feeling relief. It takes a little pressure off. But again, it's the membership that votes. We try to get the best deal for our membership, and we bring it to them, and then ultimately they have the final decision.
That ratification vote will happen on Sunday after an information session for members to take in the details of the agreement. City Manager Norm Gale issued a statement saying the city is extremely pleased to have reached a tentative deal, and he says he greatly appreciates the diligence and hard work of the city's transit staff during the pandemic.
The Lakehead Region Conservation Authority is getting ready to restore wildlife habitat and manage stormwater runoff at the Mount Dale boat launch after receiving funds from the city and the federal government. The riparian habitat restoration project will see the installation of green infrastructure and a shoreline buffer using low-impact development techniques, while at the same time improving public access to the Cam River. A concept design will be prepared, which will include future improvements to the boat launch. City Parks planner Werner Schwar is working with the LRCA on the plan, and he's hoping for plenty of constructive feedback from the public to help this project reach its full potential.
And we have heard a lot of people talk about how this could be even a better park in terms of circulation for both pedestrians and vehicles. And this gives us an opportunity to reach out to already a captive audience and get their ideas in that respect.
We will be doing a full public consultation process early in 2022. Following some consultation, we will do some concept design work and final design for public input late March.
Willis adds the development should have no impact on visitors who stop by to launch their boats.
As the United Way of Thunder Bay continues its annual fundraising campaign, a local company is stepping up with a big donation to help tackle poverty in the community. Intercity Industrial announced its company will match all donations to the United Way up to $10,000. All funds raised stay local to combat poverty and other social issues here in Thunder Bay. The United Way also revealed details of its Gifts That Give Back online auction, featuring gift packages from local businesses. CEO Albert Brule says he's thankful for all the support.
We're so pleased to have
Intercity Industrial Supply join us today and to put together a matching gift challenge encouraging individuals, businesses, organizations to get behind the United Way's effort to ensure that our partner agencies have the funds that they will need to meet the vital services and programs that are required in community.
So we all know that poverty is larger than ever. Of course, COVID's made things even more complicated. This is just our way of thanking United Way and for giving some back to the community.
Tomorrow also marks this year's Giving Tuesday, also known as the opening day of the giving season. Donations can be made by visiting the local United Way website.
There may not be a lot of snow in Thunder Bay yet, but a pair of winter recreational facilities have already opened for the season. Mount Baldy Ski Area and the skating rink at Prince Arthur's Landing were both open for outdoor fun this weekend. Mitchell Ringos was on the scene.
For Canadians, ice rinks are practically essential, especially here in Thunder Bay. And even with warmer temperatures, the ice rink at Prince Arthur's Landing is now open. Tens of people came out to skate the beautiful rink on the waterfront that has a front row seat to the sleeping giant. The rink will be open 7 days a week from 12 in the afternoon to 9 at night for anyone to come for a free skate. With this rink being a community favorite, especially with kids, we talked to locals about how excited they were to be skating once again.
Yeah, it's obviously beautiful scenery in the back with the sleeping giant and the waterfront. It's usually the first rink that's open to my knowledge. All the kids love it and we're getting the holiday spirit, so everybody's excited.
It's fun to just skate wherever you want.
Does it kind of feel like the holiday spirit's coming back?
Yeah.
We were looking so forward to it. We are counting the days down till it was open, and we waited and waited, and finally we got to come, and we come all the time.
And also opening was a portion of the Mount Baldy Ski Resort, where local snow enthusiasts could come and use the grip toe to either carve down the hill or shred the multiple rails. For now, just the Bunny Hill is open, but Mount Baldy co-owner Daniel Cardis says they're working on blowing more snow to open up more runs as soon as possible. The hill is only open on weekends from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., but will increase hours depending on the weather. And Mount Baldy is the first hill open in Ontario, which Cardis says took a lot of work to make it happen.
Yeah, I haven't got the ribbon sent to me yet, but yeah, it always feels good when you're early. Last year we were way earlier. We were making snow October 15th, and we were open for Halloween, which was insane. And this year's been kind of weird. It's been up and down. It's been so warm. It's been a warm fall, so yeah, we did it. I mean, it was a bunch of work, but we got it done and people were out enjoying it, so you can't say no to that.
As for the new chairlift, Cardis says they're hoping to start standing up towers in the coming weeks and plans to have the massive project finished sometime this year.
And with the hill here at Mount Baldy and the ski rink at the waterfront now open, it's starting to feel a lot more like Christmas. All we need now is a good snowfall. Mitchell Ringos,